5-Step Roadmap to Homeownership, Part 3. Now, we know we've already learned about the point where you apply for the loan and then you did provide documentation and then you decide which loan program you're going to do. At this point, the loan officer will probably tell you that your file is going to processing and underwriting. So, what is that? Every single loan has to meet investor requirements. These have to be met before we get the final approval. This is where your processor comes in. They look at the documentation that you provided to your loan officer, they look at the loan product, and they look at the investor guidelines. And they say, okay, I've got everything or at least enough right now that we can submit this to underwriting. Now, during the process period, you may be asked for additional documentation. Don't think it's bad. It's just that they need some clarification before it goes to underwriting. The underwriter then is kind of like the last set of eyes to make sure that all the documentation and everything written on the loan application matches and everything meets the investor guidelines. And again, at this point, the underwriter may want an updated pay stub or a little bit more clarification, and they will give you what's called a conditional approval. And typically it might be 1 or 2 items, and the majority of stuff at the pre-approval stage is going to be related to the property. One thing I can't stress enough is when your loan officer asks you for additional documentation, you need to get that as quickly as possible. And no JPEGs, please. Make sure that you get PDFs or you can upload them or even fax it to them. But please, no JPEGs on your cell phone text. We appreciate that. Hit the plus sign to find out what step 4 is.